violate the NDA, that's fine. I'm not going to.
Yeah, it tastes like UFOs too. He's the most angry stoner ever.
You just hit the big red button and we'll be good.
Just get in your vehicle, go enjoy it. If it takes you 12 hours to get there, if it takes you 2,400 miles to get there, go
Yeah.
enjoy it. You will see a different look on anybody's face when they're seeing something new that they've never seen before, that they haven't even ever seen on a TV screen.
Hey there, I'm Nathan. This here is Johnny Danger, and you're listening to the Trailhead Podcast.
Let it up, let it roar, I feel the crowd shake. Head down, fast flying, no time to waste. The trail is calling, engine power. This is where trails start and stories unfold. On the starlit skies, where the wild things roam. Every trail a journey, every jeep a home. When the wild ones run, the dust kicks high and the day's not done. With the fun wide open and the turning our soul. This is where trails start and our stories unfold.
Well, welcome back to the Trailhead, everybody. And in this episode of the Trailhead, we are shaking off the dust and the sand, hollow sand, and unpacking our first adventure. Well, our first big adventure of this show, really. Joining me are Brian, Alyssa, and Nathan of Team Danger Zone. How you guys doing tonight?
Good. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Awesome. All right. Well, this was kind of for the show, this was kind of the first, we did All for Fun last year. It was kind of our first big thing that we did as a remote kind of a situation. This was a much bigger situation for us all the way around. So for us, it was a bigger deal, but for you, it was an even bigger deal, right, man? Like you just decided to go on an adventure out west and then drag along your wife and your
Yeah, it was
4-year-old.
kind of like an impromptu family adventure. Nothing like an unscheduled
Impromptu.
over 2,000-mile journey one way. To keep it interesting. 5 days
Well,
camping out
that
of your
part you did
vehicle
by
in the
yourself.
desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Uh-huh.
mean, they still traveled it. They just took a plane. And I mean, to be perfectly honest, it was one of the concerns because, like I said, we have a cruise coming up here next week. That was going to be Johnny's first time on a plane, but at least there's 9 of us all going on that. So it was kind of like a team effort there. Traveling out for Trail Hero expeditions and back, Susan was solo with him, and we didn't know what to expect bringing him, through an airport and onto a plane because one of his biggest triggers is that he doesn't want to sit still and wait. Like he's ready to do almost anything, but don't put him in a line. Don't strap me into, even that, you go to a carnival or a amusement park, strap me in and hit the damn button and go. Don't take the 3 minutes to check everything and make sure everything's good. He's going to start screaming because, he's ready. The second he's ready, everybody else better be ready. So we were definitely concerned, but he did amazing even flying. So
Yeah, it was, I think for this trip, I think was for a lot of people was a lot of first times for folks, whether it was, the off-road portion of it or, driving a couple thousand miles, driving your Jeep a couple thousand miles in one direction just to turn around and drive it back a couple thousand miles in one direction. But I appreciate you stopping for tacos.
they were good.
So they were,
It was a nice little
it was
detour.
pretty decent. It was a nice little detour. And I always forget the name of it. I have to look it up now. Tacos La Pasida. La Pasadita?
Well, that place isn't bad.
Oh, they're amazing. Yeah. So I got turned on to this place a couple years ago by Trails Off Road folks, actually. TJ, he loved this place, and we came in off of doing Behind the Reef and a couple of other trails we essentially ended up on 70 just west of Green River. And he's like, you'll love the tacos over here. We'll go over there. And like, I'll put it this way. I don't know of anything else on Google that I've visited on a regular basis that has almost 2,000 reviews on Google with a 4.7. Especially that's like an old Shell gas station that they've converted into a food truck place.
Yeah. It was good though. They had everything down. They knew what they were doing.
Yep.
Don't recommend the alien jerky place.
No, I don't either. I have some an interesting aside on that one because I spent a couple of days in Green River on the way to and from Trail Hero Expeditions. I was kind of driving around town and in and around there in the Thompson Springs area and all that kind of stuff. I noticed that there's a new gas station going up next to Captain Beef Jerky and it's $7 gas. And
I hope it's a Buc-ee's. I hope it's a Buc-ee's.
I hope it's a Buc-ee's. I hope it's a Maverick. I hope it's somebody with cheap gas. Because that guy is a real ass. I've talked to him. He's a real ass. He doesn't care about his customers. He's
the most angry stoner ever.
Like for real though, right? Like Alyssa, have you ever stopped there? Have you ever stopped at that Green River beef jerky place that's at the side of the road on the way to Moab?
No, I've only driven that route like once. So no.
Okay. Don't.
Okay.
By the time you go through there again, it'll probably be gone, but it is. And Nathan, I know this was the first time.
Was that like Crazy Bill's or something like that?
Crazy.
Yeah, I drove by it on the way out. I remember seeing it, and you could tell that there was some construction going on next door that looked like a gas station. So yeah, I never stopped.
There's Crazy Carl's, there's Crazy Bill's. They're all brothers.
They all charge 4 times as much as they need to for gas.
Oh, I hope it's a Buc-ee's. I've been begging for a Buc-ee's right there on I-70.
It's not. So I'll tell you this right now. It's not big enough to be a Buc-ee's. It's big enough to be a Maverick.
Yeah, it's big enough to be a Buc-ee's gas station. Or a restroom, not a gas station.
Yeah, not a gas station. But yeah, it's this guy's Jackass Joe's. That's what the hell the name of it is.
Okay.
Wow.
Jackass Joe's UFO jerky. Yeah.
Yeah, it tastes like UFOs too.
It's not good jerky. It's expensive. Like
no.
I've stopped in there. I'm not talking like I've stopped there for both, right? I needed gas in an emergency. Like I didn't have a whole lot of gas. I needed gas. I had to get like 3 gallons of gas. It cost me $18. This was 5 years ago. It was ridiculous. It was dumb.
I mean, gas in Wickiup is cheaper than gas there.
Well, the thing was is like and he's still charging this stuff. And Thompson Springs is like maybe 10 minutes down the road. So I don't know how he stayed in business as long as he did, but if he's gonna have competitions now, so we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, all he has to do is sell 3 packs of jerky a month, and he made his rent.
I mean, seriously, if he owns that property, then that's probably.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw like possum jerky in there. I've seen.
It's whatever got hit. Whatever got hit on the highway outside jerky.
There is not a lot of wildlife around there, and there's a reason.
You don't see a lot of cattle, and then there's jerky.
I look forward to your call, Joe. 719-408-0132. You can tell me about how much of an ass I am. Yeah. All right. Okay. But yeah. So we went as a show. We kind of didn't know what to expect. I don't necessarily know that anybody knew what to expect. I think we went in, kind of an expectation that we were going to do a certain kind of show and what we're doing now. We were kind of talking about before we went on the air for this particular episode was we went in kind of expecting we're going to get 3 or 4, maybe 5 episodes out of this whole thing. And then as I spent a week with Nathan and the other competitors, I realized like there's so much that's not going to get told in the final show, right? Like it's a reality show. So you're going to get 12 teams over the course of 6 episodes or however many episodes they are. And if they're half an hour or even an hour long, you're only going to get so much about each one of those people. So there's actually going to be a total of 12 episodes that are going to air later this year for everybody involved. Essentially each team is going to get their own episodes. So we get a chance to sit down and talk with everybody about their experiences and how they ended up there, because everybody ended up at Trail Hero X for a different reason. And it was fascinating to find out how those of us who stumbled into it backwards and people who kind of like that's kind of the thing that they do. So it was good all the way around though.
so many questions that I can't ask on this because I'd be delving into non-competes and everything for right now.
Well, ask the question, and then we can tell you if it's a Fifth Amendment question or not.
It's right now. I just have I don't understand. You're a participant, and then you're a cat. Like there's cast members, and okay.
All right.
So participant and cast is pretty much interchangeable in that regard. You had crew, cast, and then I guess media and the film crew.
I understand. I got that, but you're overlanders. You're not a freaking survivor here. Okay. I mean, were they voted out? Like, I don't. That's where I'm like, my brain just can't like comprehend.
Yeah, you ever see Naked and Afraid?
Naked and Afraid?
Yeah, it's nothing like that.
Yeah, I watched that. I watched that.
I don't think I like you to compare this trip to Naked and Afraid, Nathan.
I don't. I'm trying to like. Are we looking like fear factor here? Are we talking about? Are we talking about Survivor? Were there people kicked off the island?
Well, unfortunately, those questions are going to have to wait for the show.
Well, all right. So part of it can be, and Nathan, here's where I can protect you.
I'll let you violate the NDA. That's fine. I'm not going to.
I can say more than you can on this one. What I can tell you is that there's an adventure portion of this trip and this whole thing as an event. Mm-hmm. And that is the piece of us that was traveling from camp to camp on a day-to-day basis, right? Those particular portions of it weren't necessarily part of the competition piece. So there wasn't, and this is the reason why I say that is because it's important to note that there wasn't like a time piece of things from a camp to camp, because there's a bunch of liability reasons for that, right? Like different rigs and different methods of getting from point A to point B. And for those of you who are not familiar with what Trailhero Expeditions was supposed to be, it essentially was a 570 mile trip through the desert. You had in between that, you're going to have camping opportunities for us as a group to overland and hang together at the camps themselves. And then going from camp to camp was going to kind of be up to you. And that's the other part of the reason why it was kind of left. I think it was left out of the competition portion of things. You had 3 different levels you could participate in, and that was the beginner, intermediate, or expert. And the beginner was kind of like you got everything, right? Here's the track, here's all the information, here's how to get from camp A to camp B, and you're good to go.
So it's like playing dodgeball, but the other team didn't get any balls
for that.
And remember, none of this portion is the zero competition side, so there is no really other team as far as the traveling aspect.
Yeah. So the overland piece of it, there wasn't any competition to get from point A to point B any faster or any less of mileage or anything like that. That might be something in the future. I could totally see, Rich taking that and being like, here's what we learned working on the first time. Maybe we make bonus points for folks to take a shorter path.
And I will say the one aspect I did like is not timing your travel off-road. Means a lot of people, like I know my insurance company covers my vehicle off-road with the exception of racing and timed events. So had those sections been like timed competition, technically my insurance would not cover my vehicle during that. But since they weren't timed events, whatever damage I incurred on there, I could have filed an insurance claim had I needed to.
That's a really interesting point that I didn't think about. Yeah.
That's where I'm trying to help tee up why people should watch the overland expeditions instead of, because I do think there is a place for this event in the off-road world. I just don't, and I know that it's the first time.
From my perspective, one of the things that's going to be unique about this show, and I mean, that said, it all depends on how it ends up being edited and cut together, is from a lot of the content that I watch, in the off-roading aspect online, this one will probably have a more unique and varied group of individuals. Like there's a lot of different rigs, there's a lot of different people, and everybody kind of has their own goals and take on what's going on. I think JD would probably agree with that too. Like everyone kind of, we all kind of had our own game plan or intentions, kind of why we were there, what brought us, and what we were doing from a gear perspective as well. I think it'll be more unique. I think in that aspect, it might relate more to more people because it's just not all a whole bunch of, JKUs or JKLs on tons and 40s, and we're all basically driving the same thing in different colors going over rocks. Not to knock that. That's still pretty fun too, but
Brian likes to watch, and that's something we can talk about in a different episode that is unrelated to this. Yes. Let me try to answer that question. And Alyssa, let me ask you real quick. Are you a reality TV show person?
Yes.
Okay. So all right, there's no shame in that, right? Like I watch my fair share of it, whether or not I should or shouldn't, that's a different discussion, but I watch enough of it. Brian, I get the feeling you are not a reality show person.
I like watching that, no.
Okay.
Wait, Jersey Shore? I like Jersey Shore.
Stop lying. No,
so Real World.
On the reality topic. Hey, so this one, if
fist bumping all the time.
If season 1 was, let's say, the Survivor take, overlanding Survivor, reality, let's go season 2. Tell Rich he's got to go like the mole version,
like Traders.
Yeah, where you got everyone's trying to figure out who the mole is.
Yeah. Oh, see, Alyssa got into it.
That's a game show.
That's probably the only reality show I've watched recently is the last couple seasons of the mole.
There you go. Traders is very similar to the mole.
So wait, what's the mole?
Don't worry about it.
We'll give you a list
for another day.
Watch.
Topic for another day. Well,
I mean, I watched The Apprentice. I did watch The Apprentice.
Well, we all did, and we're all dumber for it, but that's a different discussion.
I didn't watch the Omarosa season. I stopped at first episode. I was like,
you were better off that way. Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't do this.
How I would describe this as a show, and to someone who had never someone who hadn't thought about, who doesn't watch reality, like if I was explaining this to Brian, like this was a reality show that had overlanding elements and competition elements to it. Neither one were its sole focus, right? So I think that at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff that Nathan and I can talk about in the competition piece of things will be a big focus of what the show itself is. But I think the big piece of, and why Rich wanted to do this and what Rich wanted to show, is all of the stuff that ended up happening in between, right? Like all the stuff that happens in between camps, all the stuff that happens at camp, not necessarily the competitions that last for however long they last for, but the in-between pieces, right? Like, cause that's the pieces that I think a lot of folks don't get from like Trail Hero. And I think that was the other piece of this too, is that, Trail Hero is very much a rock crawling focused event, and Rich wanted to find a way to kind of highlight overlanding in a way that was easily digestible by a larger audience. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree.
It does. It makes sense to me. I understand the premise of it, and I understand that there's a large audience of it. And I get it. I just don't, from a former overlanding perspective, who was going to be a part of this as well as a competitor. And I would have called myself a competitor, not a cast member. Because I do feel that that's more, but I would like to, it's when I have watched Survivor, the fun parts is when people get voted off the island and the look on their face like, oh man, I'm not a cool overlander. That would have been great. Like, oh man, like a 10-minute tent challenge in the wind and the heat. There you go. Oh, didn't do it. You're out. Bye, Felicia.
All right, we're getting into the starting to get into the area. No, but we're starting to get into the area that we can't talk about, and whether or not things like that occurred or not. So what I will tell you is that, let me put it this way. And Nathan, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. As a person from the media perspective, right? I'm coming at this from a different angle, right? I've got the show in mind. I'm there to interview folks like Nathan and the other teams that are there, and to kind of have those discussions with them about the experience that they're having. And I wasn't and I had been part of all the production meetings, right? I had been, talked with Rich and the crew that was doing the filming, and we kind of had an idea of what was going to happen. And I think going into this, even I, just at a core level, because I'm a skeptic to begin with, I was skeptical. I was still skeptical that this was going to turn into something that was going to be, that would be A, fun to be a part of, and then B, would be fun to watch if somebody filmed it and put it on television. By the third day, I was convinced that this is gold. And that's coming from a person who off-roads,
Okay.
overlands, and watches reality shows. Like I kind of fill all of those buckets, and I wasn't convinced at first. I was a believer by the end of it. So what do you think, man? Do you feel like
you get the golden tent?
you get the golden
No, I completely agree.
No.
It was something that was amazing to be there and participate in. That said, I'm still super excited to watch it when it comes out because, I mean, one, it was exciting the whole time, but two, you don't see everything when you're there. So I want to see all the other stuff that happened, maybe out on the trail with somebody else on the other side of camp. Who knows what happened? I'm excited to see how all that stuff played out. And I think you're kind of touching on it too. It kind of has the opportunity to fill like a niche in the market that isn't really capitalized on. Because like I'm someone that'll sit down and I'll watch all the coverage from like Trail Hero and the other events like that. My wife's not interested in watching that stuff. I'm not going to get her to sit on the couch and watch those events with me. When you add in the overlanding aspect and then the reality show aspect of it, you open it up to such a larger market that, isn't interested in the more hardcore off-road aspect of it.
I have a question.
Like we're coming back for Trail Hero. I would not have been able to sell her on Trail Hero if I didn't get her out there. It's like
you basically sold her on Utah.
Yeah, exactly. I sold her on the scenic family vacation aspect of overlanding, and then everything else hooked her.
And I live here, so it's for me. This is, I open my windows and hopefully.
Yeah, so you're bored of it already. I get it.
No, I'm not bored of it, by any means, not bored of it. It's amazing to wake up in the morning and be able to go hit Sand Hollow, and by lunchtime I'm having lunch. By 1:00 in the afternoon I'm in the shop until 5-6 o'clock at night, and then I can repeat and never see the same trail twice a year. That is awesome. Of the reality shows I have watched, okay, who was the Puck? Okay, there was this reality show back in the 90s called Real World, when it was actually Real World. And they had a character named Puck. All you kids out there, you crazy kids, go watch some YouTube skits of videos, not skits, of Puck.
Yeah, well, I think to JD's answer the last question you had, you're going to have to wait and see.
What I will say to that, Brian, I think you've already met that person.
Awesome.
And Alyssa, the question that I asked into the void was whether or not you were old enough to know who Puck was.
No.
And if you...
Well, maybe. I was sheltered growing up, so maybe. I don't know.
He was on 2 different seasons of The Real World. Okay.
We also
he was on San Francisco.
We didn't have cable. I don't know. I didn't get into like cable TV until I think college because we just didn't have it.
See, yeah.
So I think I was old enough, but I don't know.
See, don't feel bad. I recognize that we had cable in my house way too young. Like I was watching HBO at too young of an age. So yeah, you're better off. You probably are more balanced today because you didn't watch all that stuff when you were.
I had one of those huge satellites.
I was gonna say, or
sat
satellite
in the backyard.
Yeah.
I got every channel.
Every channel.
You still only seen a handful of reality shows. You had every channel. Brian.
There was this thing called football, which is reality.
That is
Baseball,
reality. Yeah, that was unscripted.
Hockey, reality.
I'm just teasing. Yeah, you're good.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was y'all's favorite place to wake up?
Probably had to be the Grand Canyon, hands
Oh,
down. North rim of the Grand Canyon. It's pretty hard pressed to beat that.
that's so cool.
Like
Sand Hollow was fun, but that was more the driving aspect of Sand Hollow. From a waking up and view perspective, Canyon.
You woke up at
and
yeah, one of the 7 wonders of the world. Like that's huge.
It
That's
was pretty
awesome.
grand.
No one can say they did that.
It was pretty grand, he says.
Yeah.
Why? We're not here to do puns. Like, so I shared this on Facebook. Like this is how I woke up. And it's one of those things where you
That's
can't put into
unreal.
words exactly what it is that you run into when you're out there. And the Grand Canyon, like I'm sure that Rich had planned this in such a way that we would end up in this particular spot because, you know, you're tired. It's the 3rd day in and you're starting to get a little exhausted. And then you wake up and you're like, for the love of God, like I can't even, like it was hard to put words to the view when you wake up. And Nathan, we talked about this before, but I can't remember. Did you show up before or after dark to camp?
After dark, coming into the Grand Canyon. So yeah, we didn't even get to really see it until the next day. Amazing views at night though, because we had, I think it was the second night we hit the full moon or something like that. So it was like basically a full moon every night. So I actually got a couple of pictures of the moon coming up over the mountains at the Grand Canyon that were pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
It was pretty wild. Like I never experienced a camp like that, and I'm a Boy Scout, right? Like I camped all up until 16 on a regular basis in some of the finest campgrounds in the Midwestern states. It was nothing compared to that. So yeah, I hope that I find something else to top that. I'm sure I will find something else to top that in the future, but it was a really great way to kind of, for me, I was in a different place and I needed a reset at that point in the trip just to kind of get my head on. And man, that was the perfect reset that I needed.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I don't think I was the only one. I think even the competitors, I think they needed it too. And
I would like to see more newbies getting into the off-roading scene, and it be handed over a fully built overland rig and said, here's point A. They're given, a certain amount of class.
Gets the same rig, and then
like 20 exact same gladiators show up at Casa, and they say, okay, here's your no electronics, here's your GPS, and now let's film that. Okay.
I don't know, Nathan. I kind of like that idea. Like that's a different.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going that route, then you got to take it a step further. Everybody participating has to have never have off-roaded before, because then we make it interesting. Like you drop somebody that knows what they're doing into a fully built rig. Yeah, it's not really. I think I lose interest there because I want to see the unique rigs. Everybody kind of has their own spin on what they're doing. But if you're going to take an even playing field of vehicles, then I want the users to be the unique aspect of it. So pull somebody from something else. You've never left the pavement in your life. So here's, you're on tons and 40s and you got a 10 on the back. You need to get 100 miles up there, that mountain into the desert.
I'm saying I'm not saying tons and 40s. I'm saying a 35-inch tire, 35-inch tire, 44s.
Yeah, but I want somebody that doesn't even know how to put it in 4-low.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I'm down with that. But then they have a fully, like the bed of the Gladiator has enough water for a day, has enough water for 5 days in case they get lost.
The bed's only 5 feet long, right?
There's a tent, a rolled up REI tent, and they have to put that tent together. That's the first challenge. Boom, right out the gate. It's a challenge, right? The first night they have to figure it out. It has to be a team effort of people that don't actually know each other.
It's real fun sitting on the outside having the NDA signed, isn't it, Nathan?
Yeah, obviously.
I look at it I think this was a great event. I actually was excited if my team had been able to do it, we would have had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We would have had a lot of fun.
I was gonna say the only other problem with that aspect, which I think would be very exciting, a little bit more overhead if you got to be able to pre-fund the show for like 12 fully built rigs and work that into the budget. I don't know if the budget was quite that high.
But I mean, how much does a tent at Walmart cost?
And worry about the
4-man
10.
tent
How
at
about
Walmart.
the 12 gladiators that you got to put on 35s and load up with all the gear?
A Rubicon Gladiator comes stock with 45s, or I mean 35s.
Yeah, 45s.
45s.
Wow, we're making news tonight. Yeah. And I get that portion of it, and maybe that's something like it's season 5 or season 6, like you can start to look at that kind of a thing. I think that the way that this was put together was kind of like, it's like a guerrilla reality show. Like it was very much intended to be kind of like, we're going to go out and we're going to film this, and we're going to do there's going to be reality portions of this, and like the competition pieces of things, and there's going to be the overland pieces of things, and then we're just going to kind of see how it goes. And I think there was I think part of the reason why I say I know I needed a reset, and I think some others did, is because a lot of us were just kind of feeling our way through this process, right? Like and Rich has produced other shows, Truck Night in America and a couple of other things he's been a part of, and he's done those types of productions before. But I would say the vast majority of the rest of us have never been involved with any of that kind of a thing before. Like, so I know, Nathan, I don't know about you, I've never been involved in a TV show.
Nope.
Alyssa, have you ever been involved in a TV show other than like commercial?
I can't think off the top of my head. I want to say yes, but I can't remember.
Okay, but you kind of did the commercial thing though, so you at least have a little bit of a feel for it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you just got the YouTube where you got to worry about your butt and jeans, right, Brian?
Oh no, I've been in a rap video.
Wait. Hang on a second here. How is this the first time that I'm learning that you've been in a rap video, and where is the video?
I've been writing for Trails Off-Road for nearly 10 years now, and what drew me in wasn't just the chance to map trails, it was their absolute commitment to building detailed, consistent, and responsible guides that truly help people explore with confidence. That mission still matters, and that's why I believe in Trails Off-Road, not just because I'm a writer and they're a sponsor, but because I've seen firsthand how useful this tool can be when you're deep in the backcountry and plans are changing by the hour. Planning a full week of the trailhead following along with Trail Hero expeditions meant juggling long days, minimal cell phone service, and evolving plans. Trails Off-Road kept the plan simple for me, though. Clear difficulty ratings and waypoints for obstacles and even some camping information made the journey that much easier. Public land overlays made it easy to stay legal and tread lightly when roving camp to camp, and it all worked offline. So the guide and the map kept working even when the cell bars faded. New features even allow you to record your tracks, add your own waypoints, and put the guide on a compatible Android Auto Dash. If you want one tool to plan your adventure smarter, this is it. So for the best damn trail guides, get your free trial of Trails Off-Road All Access in the app or at trailsoffroad.com.
Commercial thing though, so you at least have a little bit of a feel for it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you just got the YouTube where you got to worry about your butt and jeans, right, Brian?
Oh no, I've been in a rap video.
Wait. Hang on a second here. How is this the first time that I'm learning that you've been in a rap video, and where is the video?
My character was an angry old man.
Typecast there for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna require that you send me that video. Or
I think the wife has it hidden somewhere,
but
only to break open in case of emergencies. But yes, I was in a rap video.
I'm gonna have to hit her up on the side. Yeah.
I've actually been in it. I've been in like 2 or 3.
Was it always angry old white man?
No. I think I was drunk spectator at a bar.
So it's all
really had to stretch your acting muscles on these roles.
Angry old man was actually really hard. It was really hard.
Why was it so difficult?
because when you're told to be an angry old man, everything's just a joke. But when it just comes out naturally, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
But I think it was a great event. I think it's a great premise for an event. I think it's a great event. I think that there are tweaks to it, but you're taking big name people that who already are supposed overlanders, and you're doing something with them.
Well, and let me tell you this, and this doesn't give anything away in the process, but a couple different things played out in the desert, and one of those things is that I think people, and I will use myself as an example, I think that you can prepare yourself for a whole lot of things, and when you get into the moment, when you're under that pressure of whether it's traveling from point A to point B and having a bunch of people with you, or a camera crew that happens to be around you, or if in my instance you're just one of the media people who is traveling with one of the sponsors, and you were given kind of poor directions about where you're supposed to go to kind of avoid parts of the off-road trail that your trailer can't handle, and then you manage to get lost. It's one of those things that once you get out there in it, you kind of find out, you're like, oh, when the pressure is on, some of those things that I thought I knew, I either don't know or I don't retreat too fast enough. In my instance, it was I'd been given kind of, let's just call them less than stellar directions about where we were supposed to go to get to the next camp. So we kind of ended up on the right road, but I was following Google Maps, which is my own fault because I was tired and wasn't paying attention. And that's what happens in these types of situations, right? So me and Adam from Ride Dog, shout out to Ride Dog and their tracking equipment, and we spent the whole afternoon together, kind of essentially finding our way towards the Grand Canyon on all of the rancher BLM roads on the side, as opposed to the easy dirt gravel road that we were supposed to take all the way down to the final drop into the valley. And if I hadn't had 3 days of travel, I didn't even have the competition pieces that Nathan and them had and all the rest of it. But I was so tired, like it didn't even dawn on me. Like you knew where we were going. Just to myself, like, JD, you knew where we were going before we got in the Jeep, before we even got on this trip, because Rich had shared with us as part of production and media, like where we were going to be going. I had been given all that information ahead of time. I have all this background and experience with maps, with maps and trails off road. And you know what I didn't do when I was tired and I was given poor directions? Was just stop and say, you know how to do this, and go to Trails Off Road and go to my maps and go to my own stuff instead of relying on other people's stuff. And I got lost, and we spent the whole afternoon, we were lost, and I'm going to put that in air quotes. We essentially ended up on the parallel BLM road that ran down to where we needed to go, but it was going to be much rougher and it was a much longer day. And like 4:30 in the afternoon, 5:00 in the afternoon, you start going like, well, if we have to, we could just set up camp wherever we need to, and we can meet up with the rest of everybody in the morning, because there was no cell phone service down there at all. But what's interesting, I think, about those things is it doesn't matter if you're an experienced overlander or if you're an experienced off-roader. I think that the stress of the event itself helps level the playing field. Because some people, and Nathan, you can agree or disagree with me on this, I think that for some people that kind of raised their game, and for other people it brought it to a more level spot. But we had everybody there with 31s to 40s running the entire event from start to end.
Yeah. And I can't speak for anybody else, but I by no means ever claimed to be an overlander. Quite the opposite, actually.
I think it.
Did the true overlanders, did the cream rise to the top, or did it, like you said, it kind of evened out? Because I know a lot of overlanders that are overlanders. They go from Baja, Mexico, all the way to Montana at least once a year. And they do it, and they only spend about 50 miles on paved road that entire way. And so that's where I'm going, is that, like, I had a question for Nathan, like, did you train for this, like looking at like learning maps and how to do navigation? Did you know a general area? Like, I use Onyx Off-Road. I can save the entire data packages all the way around so that I can have all those maps all the way down to a grid square of what I need to know. Whereas, did you get out and learn how to use a compass and all those things?
So zero training. I mean, I am an Eagle Scout. I've done a lot of compass orienteering in my day, so if I needed to, I could. But that wasn't the reason we were there. So we had zero intention of ever going beyond the beginner trek and using the digital map as far as the traveling. Like trying to navigate, like that wasn't why we were there. We were there for a
Hmm.
scenic family adventure, basically. We were going, ooh, cool object over there. Let's detour and take a look at that and take some pictures and stuff like that. Had nothing to prove as far as navigating my way through the desert.
Okay. I mean, it's, when I had to train when I hiked down to Havasupai, I had to train for it. It's a 12-mile hike down, it's a 12-mile hike back up. And yes, there is a helicopter, and believe me, I wanted to take it so badly. But, you had to train for it. And then when it came to overlanding, it was, knowing how to, when you get to camp here, your driver, your co-driver, your son, they all have a position to fill in that area. I mean, I know that when it comes to Kate, it's Kate, here's what your job is when we get to camp. Your job is to pull the firewood out and start the fire. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
I'll handle everything else.
Wow.
I usually have it all done before the fire's even started. Because she's playing with Starlink and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
just
think you're
that's
saying
what
nice things because Kate's not listening right now.
No, she's right over here.
Hi, Kate.
Those are the things that I'm asking is, do you think that other members trained to do this if they were going in the beginner? I understand that digital maps is digital maps, but you still have to be able to withstand the prison mattress basically that you're sleeping on, the lack of high proteins that you're not eating that you're used
Well,
to
I
eating
ate
every
lots of
day.
beef jerky every
Um,
day. Protein wasn't an issue.
okay, that's why I'm not trying to be.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm just I'm asking the questions because these are, did you have it's when I go out, when I was overlanding, I would freeze all my proteins, and then I would know how they unthawed,
Yeah.
and
So
I'd plan out if I was going out for 5 days. I know that, okay, this is meal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through 10, so that I knew exactly how they all were to be ordered in the refrigerator, so I didn't move everything. So that the bottom's unthawing last and the top is thawing out first. Those things.
yeah. No, I mean, so we planned our food and stuff like that, packed it, had a cooler fridge combo that basically ran, kept everything, chilled so we didn't have to worry about anything spoiling and
Nice.
stuff like that. Because I actually froze it because I had it all prepped before I left, so I drove it cross country, all the food with us. Um, but I mean, yeah, I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm sure everybody kind of had their own, what was going to be the challenging aspect for everybody. Some people it might be the navigating, some people it might be the actual trail, some people it might be the camping aspect. Everyone's kind of different. To be honest, I wasn't too concerned because, like, if you want to say like the training aspect of it, my training was the 4 years I spent building and wheeling my vehicle. Like, I know my vehicle, so that was my training. I know that vehicle. I
Okay.
drive it every day and I off-road it almost every month. So I mean, I was ready to go and take it. Had you given me a vehicle I'd never driven before, different conversation.
Okay.
And I packed all my gear, so I knew my gear. Like, it was like that was, I guess, if you wanted to look at it from like a training perspective, that was my training, was knowing my rig and the loadout.
Yeah. I mean, that's. I mean, those are.
Well, no,
It answered my question.
I like that he brings it up too, because I brought this up on his show that and him and Susan's show, because Nathan is a friend of the show, and without giving anything away, I was aware of what many of the competitions were going to be before we got out onto the trail. But Nathan was not aware of what any of those competitions were before we got out there, so he couldn't prepare for any of them. But I was interested to find out, like, if anybody did any kind of preparations beforehand. And I think talking to, the folks that I talked to on the trail and then talking to folks after the fact, I feel like there was so much, and I think it was part of this was on purpose and part of this just because of how fast everything was got put together. I think there was so much ambiguity about exactly what was going to happen out there in the desert on this, that I don't think there's a whole lot you could prepare for, right? Like, yeah, I mean, you can be prepared to do, to change something on the vehicle, or to fix something, to do some sort of a trail repair along the way, but you can't necessarily know what they're going to throw at you in that kind of a environment, in that kind of a situation, especially for first year, right? Like, people watching season 2, I'm sure they're going to have ideas because they're going to be like, well, I saw this on the first season. But knowing Rich and knowing how much glee he got out of the challenges that he put together for this particular event, he will come up with new ones for everybody for the next one around.
And Rich does a great job. Rich does every event Rich does. He does a great job. That's not what I'm playing devil's advocate and trying to.
No. And here's the thing. And Nathan, I will say this, and you do not have to. But there are pieces of this where in the moment we were like, yeah, this needs work. And I think if you've worked with Rich for any period of time on anything, he's the kind of person that after an event, he sits down with the big people involved, or the people involved, and says what worked, what didn't. And he's been having a lot of those conversations since the event, and a lot worked. There are definitely some things that didn't. Definitely some things that I think from both the production side of the house and from, I'm going to say it just to piss off Brian, from the cast member side of the house, I think that they could have been done better.
It's a lot. I understand that it's a lot to put one of these together. It's not an easy thing to do. It's not. I wouldn't go out and do it. It's just like a lot of people ask me, "Hey, you want to go out and drive a race car?" No, I don't. It just sounds like it hurts my back.
Yeah. And this would have hurt your brain. Yeah. It's not to say there's not room for criticism.
I'm not criticizing. I think you all did a phenomenal job, except for maybe one or two people. But I'm asking questions. I'm trying to ask questions that help boost the ratings of the show, that I think that everybody should get out. Take your kids out. Get out there, play. Go out, enjoy the wilderness, enjoy the time. If you don't know how to build a fire correctly, ask somebody that you might know that might be able to do it, just not Bob that stands next to the water cooler in your office. We do this. I mean, I can say I've done this professionally for 6 years, from overlanding to and it's not easy to do. And I think that every single person that went on it deserves kudos for doing it.
No, especially the first year of anything, right? Like, yeah, Trail Hero. I guarantee that if you found the first 60 rigs that showed up to Trail Hero, I doubt any one of them would tell you that it was a smooth event from front to back. So, from that aspect of it. But no, I get what you're saying, and it's fair to ask those questions from a whole different set of perspectives. Just not just the fact that, we've talked about this on all of the interview episodes that we've done so far, but Rich came on the show and about a week or two after Trail Hero last year, and to kind of do a recap and kind of talk about the event and what was good and what bad, and he had some changes.
A lot of people complained about the cops.
A lot of people, he wanted to talk about the cops, and we talked about the cops. But the other piece of it too was that he told us to us at the banquet dinner, at the awards dinner at the end of the event, that he essentially went to Brandy. He'd been planning this for some time, and Brandy, if you don't know, Brandy is his wife, and he essentially came to her 24 hours afterwards and was like, yeah, I really, that overland thing I've been talking about for a couple of years, I really want to do that in the spring. And so that was the kickoff, right? So he essentially said in the middle of October, you don't want to do this in May, and I want to organize all of this and put it all together. So all things considered, I think it worked out pretty well. But yeah, there's lots of places where I think people are gonna be like, I think we could see some improvements there.
I would have preferred it to be in towards April, but then in April you've got, just from the Jeep side of it, I'm not even going to go into the other overlanding side of it. You have EJS, Jeep Beach. You have a lot of events going on around the country in April.
Well, that's the problem. You're running out of windows for large scale events at this point.
Yeah.
Well, see, I would have preferred that too, because Overland Expos and other things are in May.
Yeah, and so in April, plus the weather's a lot different here in April. You guys drove through 3 different climate zones. If you didn't know that. Well, because you're in desert in Nevada here where you started. And then you move into high plains, high desert, mountain desert into Utah, and then down into Arizona, you're in the Grand Canyon area, which could get a May snowstorm.
Yeah.
And so I do understand that is it's a harder time to figure it out. Whereas the fall is a better time. The temperature in Mesquite, Nevada always breaks in the second week of October. And then the temperature in Utah is in the 70s and 80s, usually 2 weeks after Trail Hero. And then the Grand Canyon doesn't get its first snowfall until December-ish time frame. So
Okay.
you're dealing with a different. I was looking more towards the fall after Trail Hero, like the week, like the 2 weeks. I think there's an entire month between Trail Hero and SEMA, where you could end at you could end it at SEMA.
Ooh, I kind of like that idea.
Where all the rigs come rolling in that type of mindset. That's just from everything that I read, everything I watched. I already knew it was going to be hot here in Mesquite.
I almost had heat stroke twice on the first day there. I know.
Yeah, the first 2 days are the worst. It wasn't too bad after that, though.
Yeah, those were nice. Those were our actual nice spring days.
It was just, I wanted to melt, and I was a mile from your house.
I believe you weren't even a mile. You're like not even.
Yeah, and I didn't realize
you're
that
a block and a half
until we got back. Yeah, I didn't realize
a block and a half from my house.
Well, you kept pointing up at the mountain behind the resort, like, we're up there. And I was just like, so you're like, oh, okay, so I got to drive.
No, I was literally at the tip of my finger.
No, literally, yeah. Like, you drive through a parking lot, and then you're like, oh, here's the street, and there's Brian's house at the end of it. Yeah. That's how that works. Yep. We should really get out of here.
Sorry.
No, Alyssa, I know we didn't really touch base with you too much on this one, but like, I know it's something you did not get a chance to do, and I hope that you get a chance to join us for next year, though. But like, based on the very little you've heard, is it something you think you'd do?
Oh, absolutely. I wanted to do it so bad this year. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and I will tell you this, and this doesn't give anything away for the competition piece, but I knew what the competition pieces were going in. I know what the competition pieces ended up being at the end of it, and I will tell you this: I was much happier being there as the media covering it. As opposed to being a part of the actual competition pieces, because Nathan, man, you put in the work, buddy. You put in the work for all of those different bits of it. So it was good all around.
I mean, I'm glad that's what it's all about. Is making it enjoyable and having fun.
It was fun. I had a really good time. And even just as riding along and following along with them, and I think. After the conversations with all the other competitors that I've talked to so far, I think everybody walked away from it, having a great time in general. And Nathan, I think you and Susan, like, I feel like had some of the most transformative stories that I heard was from you guys on that trip. And
absolutely.
I will tell you guys right now, listen to his episode, but like anything in particular you want to touch on before we get out of here?
Yeah, I would just say, I mean, we go into more in depth during our conversation we had, but could not have even fathomed how much Johnny was going to enjoy it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Alyssa and Brian. Brian, I'm telling you this only because you're here, because I don't want to get made fun
Thanks,
of.
buddy.
No, and you'll understand why. But even I was just talking with Nathan and Susan yesterday, as of us recording this episode, and there is a story, and I'm not going to go into the details of what that story is, partially because I can't, because even thinking about it right now, I can't. But I have gotten choked up every time I heard it, every time I've tried to tell the story, every time I have heard Nathan reference it in like a weird like side manner, and I'm just like he started telling the story yesterday, and I'm just like, I didn't want to do this again. Like, I'm over here with the tissues, I can't. It was an amazing experience to watch you out there, Nathan, watch you and Susan and Johnny just it felt like he came into his own. Like, I could see it in your guys' faces, I could see it in his. Like, it was amazing to watch everybody with him. Like,
Yeah,
it
everybody
was
involved
awesome.
was amazing.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
Yeah, and JD, you mentioned it the day after the event was over. When you came over, you had mentioned it, and
I couldn't talk to you two. I couldn't talk to you and Kate about it. Like, I literally couldn't talk about it. I was, and I'm better about it now. But at the moment, like, I couldn't talk to you guys about it. Like, it was so awesome. It's good.
Yeah, that's where, that's what it's that. And at the end of the day, I can be devil's advocate, and I can play Mr. Old Grumpy Man in
Salty
rap
white man.
videos really well.
Yeah.
But it's about getting your family out there, enjoying the time, finding out your limits. Get out there, enjoy it. You don't need to have a competition. You don't need to just get in the vehicle and go see a different part of America that you haven't seen before.
Yeah.
I'm a West Coast kid. I grew up on this side of the Rockies. So I've probably camped in almost every state there is on the west side of the Rockies. Growing up, it's a whole different world out here. It's a big world. Go enjoy it. And if that's the only thing that's the last thing I say. Just get in your vehicle and go enjoy it. If it takes you 12 hours to get there, if it takes you 2,400 miles to get there, go enjoy it. You will see a different look on anybody's face when they're seeing something new that they've never seen before, that they haven't even ever seen on a TV screen.
And Alyssa, yes. I feel like even with a grenaded oil pump on your way to Troy Hero Expeditions, I think you would agree with that particular statement, especially because you're a resident overlander. Like, Brian is a recovering overlander, and you're still in it, so
yeah,
I feel like you have the best perspective on that level. Get out there and find it.
Yeah, even if you think there's nothing out there, or there's not much out there, there's a lot of little hidden gems in between. Yeah. It's about patience, honestly, patience and openness. And I think not having a set schedule and just saying yes to anything that comes your way.
Yes. And honestly, I think I could see this show going in a bunch of different directions in the future. And I could see that being a part of it is kind of letting it be a little bit more of a fly by the seat of your pants, and you get there when you get there kind of a situation. But yeah, just in general, if you're getting out there, I think that's the biggest part about overlanding. That one of the best experiences I had going to and from Trail Hero X. Like, I loved the whole thing itself, but I had never experienced just getting off the highway off of 70, finding an awesome place to camp and setting up, and then breaking down the next day. Like, it was really a really unique experience that I hadn't experienced before, that I hadn't done before. And now that I have, I'm like, oh, I need to do more of that. I need to just go find places where you can go do that. And west of the Rockies, man, there's tons of places where you can do that. And you just got to find it, and you just got to go out there. People complain all the time that there aren't enough trails. And I will tell you right now, in Colorado alone, there are thousands of trails. So for all of the red cones that you've heard about, for all of the Argentine passes and the rest of them, the ones that I talk about on a regular basis, there's 100 other trails that are easy to get to and that you can camp on and that are beautiful and have views of things that you haven't seen before. Go out and check it out.
Yeah.
And when
They
you
don't need
watch
to
this
be,
show-
they don't need to always be a black trail. They don't need to be a red trail. Just
Yeah.
get out there.
And some of what you guys will see on this show is going to be some of that. It's because some of it's going to be, epic views and amazing places. And some of it's just going to be great campsites with great people and having a good time. And it's overlanding is a bit of both of that. And I think the show is going to show that. And I hope that it spawns future events of it. I hope it spawns other people to get involved in the idea of it. And I think it will. I think it's gonna turn out well. I'm hopeful anyway.
There's some great Airbnbs in Buena Vista.
There's a lot of cool places to wheel too there. Yep.
There are.
Yep.
I think with that,
All right,
I'm going to call it a night.
Yeah.
I was about to say, let's get out of here, folks. All right, and I don't have anything else to wrap up with you guys. So thank you all. Thank you guys very much, Alyssa. Appreciate you. I'm really sorry you couldn't join us.
I know, but I'm so happy you got to fill me in on. I mean, just tonight. But yeah, I'm so happy you guys had a great time.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have more conversations as we continue on getting closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, once we get approval, we can actually talk about a lot of this stuff. So awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
And if you're down in the Arizona area, make sure you call Modern Off-Road Matt. He will take care of all your Jeeping needs. There, I gave Matt the plug that picked you up, Alyssa.
We'll get the plugs. There you go. Yeah, there it is. See? There you go. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. And thank you all for riding along with us this episode and letting us be a part of your off-road adventures. Safe travels on and off-road. As always, stay the trail. And we'll see you next time at the Trailhead. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
People complain all the time that there aren't enough trails. And I will tell you right now, in Colorado alone, there are thousands of trails. So for all of the red cones that you've heard about, for all of the Argentine passes and the rest of them, the ones that I talk about on a regular basis, there's 100 other trails that are easy to get to and that you can camp on and that are beautiful and have views of things that you haven't seen before. Go out and check it out.
This is where trails start and our stories unfold. And our stories unfold.